What is up, Nerf Nation? I'm Naptown Nerf, and this is an unboxing and review of the Nerf Rival Roundhouse. This thing is finally out for sale, so let's check it out. Alright, you guys, so this is the newest pistol to the Rival line. It is a 15-shot revolver style pistol. Not really revolving, I don't think, but definitely a really cool design, and I'm really excited to see what this thing is all about. I was able to find this at my local Meijer for $25, and they actually had a buy one, get one 50% off, but that probably is over with by the time you're watching this video. But nevertheless, that was pretty sweet that I was able to pick this thing up. I believe it only comes in red because they had two there and they were only red, but I don't know that for sure. And I'm assuming these will be popping up on Amazon and your other retailers. So I'll put a link in the description box to where you can pick one of these up when I can find one. So let's go ahead and check this baby out. So this thing is saying it's gonna get 90 FPS, which is awesome. It's got 15 round capacity, which is just amazing for a pistol style blaster. That being said, this pistol is large, so practicality purposes, you're gonna have to choose for yourself whether you think this is a practical pistol or not, and I'll get into my opinions more on that later in the video. But all in all, I think it's really cool looking. Reminds me a lot of the Maverick a little bit, especially in this front portion, styling wise. So that's pretty interesting. Really cool handguard, but let's go ahead and flip it over to the back of the box so we can get this baby out. Yeah, shows the blaster there, nothing too exciting. Blasters that we've all reviewed on the channel, every single one of these. Check those out. Let's crack her open. It's free. So in the package, you get your Rival Roundhouse blaster, you get 15 Rival high impact rounds, and you get some instructions. All right, so this thing is a thick blaster. This is a big boy for sure. Very, very beefy, very chunky, very interesting front end in my opinion, very flat. Not sure how I feel about that front end. It looks a little strange to me, but nevertheless, I think overall this blaster looks pretty awesome. It is just very, very large, but that grip is pretty big. It does seem this bump out kind of is a little bit irritating to the palm of my hand. We will play around with it and see if that is bothersome, but it is a pretty big grip there for sure, just like most Rival blasters. Trigger seems nice from what I can tell so far. Obviously we have our trigger lock right here, so we pull that down, we will not be able to pull the trigger. That is on both sides, so you can access that left or right-handed, no issues. We do have a pretty large priming grip that is very, very thick there. Pull that back. That's how we prime the blaster. We also have a jam door, it looks like, in here, which is an interesting place for it. Let's see how we do this. I don't know if I push it forward or pull it back. Oh yeah, oh wow. It just slides forward like that. That's pretty darn cool. So you just push this little orange button here, push that kind of back and down, and then you can pull the front end forward. So I'm not sure if that's quickly accessible. Maybe with a little bit of practice, it'll, you know, I'd get more used to it, but that isn't too bad. It's definitely really cool looking, in my opinion. I think that's a really neat way to access a jam or malfunction there. So that's pretty cool. We have a see-through window here where the Rival rounds will rotate inside here. So it is a revolver, but it's just not external. It's more an internal thing. It is very similar to the Artemis, the way this thing functions. But yeah, this has, I believe, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cylinders, and then the firing chamber. So that's pretty cool. So I'm assuming each one holds 3. We will go ahead and pull this forward because that's how we will access each cylinder to load up our 3 Rival rounds. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so the first 2 rounds going very easily. The last one, it wasn't too big of a deal. It just kind of has to slip in the front there. Just enough room in my opinion, but it's a nice design, I think, because it's not too big that they're gonna fall out. I think that's a pretty well designed access to the magazines. This one might be a little bit tighter just the way it's designed, but you know, I think that works out pretty well so far. So we'll go ahead and pull that back and we should be ready to go. So we can go ahead and prime the blaster. As you can see, that rotated around, or hopefully you can see, but maybe when we go to first person, it'll be easier to look at. But we can load it up in that one chamber, so it kind of rotates around this way and loads in around and goes forward there. Looks like this one is missing one, so we could go ahead and pull that back and add another round in there if we wanted to, and we could have 16 ready to go right off the bat. So this could hold 16 rounds, honestly. But we'll go ahead and fire this thing off. That thing seems to hit very hard, just like most Rival blasters, so that's awesome. We'll go ahead and go over the rest of the features real quick. We do have a Rival rail on top here, one on the priming grip and one in the front of the blaster, so you can put any optic you want up there. We do have some built-in iron sights here, so that's pretty cool. Looks nice. I think that works out okay. This is a little low in my opinion. It kind of is interfered with the rail, but nevertheless, I think it makes the blaster look pretty good. We do have a depriming button back here. If you have a jam and you can't deprime your blaster, or if you want to fire 2 rounds, that's always a way you can load in 2 rounds, is by pressing that down and priming again, and then you'll have a shotgun shot. A little bit inconvenient for practical purposes if you're actually in a battle, but it is possible. The handguard is very, very large, like I said earlier. Very interesting design. I think it looks pretty cool. Plenty of space, obviously, for your hand there, so no issues at all with that. If you wanted a more minimal look, I'm sure you can remove that without too much issue and some modding skills and cover up the gaps, but it does look pretty good. It gives this thing a very aggressive look. So this thing is huge, guys. I've been saying that. It is very big. I don't really see this being practical to be holstered, which is a little bit disappointing. I think if you want a holsterable Rival pistol, the Kronos is still the way to go. But if you want to run this thing on a sling, there is one sling mount attachment down here. Let's go ahead, take this thing outside, put it over the chronograph in the range, and see what kind of performance it's getting. All right, you guys, so obviously we have a little snow on the ground. Hopefully that won't affect anything too much. I don't think it will. Hopefully we can find those Rival rounds, but I do have 10 Nerf genuine Rival rounds loaded up here, and then I put some X-Shot rounds in after that, and then we will go to some Dart Zone rounds. So the first 10 shots should be Nerf genuine Rival rounds, and then the next 5 X-Shot rounds. And actually I found out a better way to shotgun this blaster that it should be actually somewhat practical, and I'll go over that a little bit later, but let's go ahead and see what kind of performance this thing's getting. $93. $94. $97. $92. I think I lied. I think we might be getting an X-Shot round in now. Yep, that's an X-Shot round. 99. 96. 96. 94. 94. Now we go back to the Nerf rounds. 95. 94. 92. 91. 89. 95. Load in a few Dart Zone rounds. Just for the sake of curiosity, I'm going to load them in this chamber and see if we have to prime through. Yes, we do. So you probably want to load in, if you're empty, into this side so you don't have to prime all the way through. I was pretty sure that that was going to be the case, but we should only have to do, that should be it, and now we should be good. So now we're ready to fire. Dart Zone. 89. 85. Huh, these seem to be shooting a little softer. 90. 86. 91. So those shot a little softer for whatever reason, but it is good to note that you need to load in here if you're completely empty, or you could just load in by pulling this forward and drop one in right there, like that. You can pull that back, and then you could prime and fire, and if you have them loaded in your magazine, it would actually load 2 in when you prime, obviously, and that'd be a great way to shotgun it. So we'll go ahead and do that too, just to show you that that can be done. We'll load in 1 here. And now we'll pull back, prime forward, and now we will shoot a 2-round burst. The front one obviously goes further than the back one, but then that was funny. The back one landed and rolled all the way as far as the first one went. But that is a pretty interesting way to shotgun this blaster, and I think a lot more practical than using this guy. Let's go ahead and check out those ranges. All right, we'll pick these up because these were our shotgun shots. And that actually didn't hurt the range too much. I mean, obviously that front one was shorter than anything else, so it does hurt the range. And then the one that came behind it was even shorter, but just rolled about 15 feet, which was interesting. Most of these actually didn't roll too much. We should be able to tell that a little bit here with the snow actually, but I don't think they rolled too much. Actually, I think the snow helped dampen that. So the shortest here around 67. We have a few Nerf and a dart zone round, which I think those seem to be shooting a little softer for whatever reason. They are not brand new like the X-Shot and the Nerf rounds are, so that may have something to do with it. But then we have a good clump right around that 70-foot range, which is really nice performance. And then we have a few that went up here, and the X-Shot rounds definitely seem to perform better than anything out of Springers. So that is something to take note of, and I really do like these a lot. So these all seem to go, you know, at least 75 foot and up. Like even one went all the way to wherever I laid my tape measure out to pretty much, and that was about 88 feet. So, you know, really good performance out of the pistol. Nothing that we didn't expect, which is awesome. You know, mid to upper 90s, which is what I seem to be getting with the Chronos and this, and they advertise 90 FPS, but mine always seem to shoot a little bit better than that. But obviously the type of ammo you're using makes a difference. So let's go back inside and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, you guys, so the Roundhouse obviously performs very well, just like the rival line always does. They never disappoint there, and I think that's awesome. Very impressive to get those kind of numbers out of a small blaster like this. I'm assuming we have a similar size plunger tube and spring load as the Chronos. I won't know that for sure until we open this up, but my guess is it's pretty similar. The prime isn't too bad. You do want to commit to it, similar to the Chronos, but it's pretty smooth considering all that's going on here, and actually way better than I thought it was going to be, so that's really nice. The capacity of this blaster obviously is awesome. I mean, you can literally put 16 rounds in here and have those ready to go, and then constantly be topping those off even when primed. I think that's really cool. The biggest downsides, obviously, for me on this blaster is its just size. It's just really, really large and just not very practical to be a holsterable pistol. But if you like just running a pistol, I think this is a great option. If you just want something, you know, somewhat compact to run as your primary, I think this could be a really good option. It could be a pretty solid primary considering the performance it's getting if you're competing against, you know, other rival blasters or in a CQB type format. I think this could be run by itself as a primary, but as a holsterable pistol, I wouldn't think it is super practical because it's just, well, kind of hard to holster. But the only other thing that I have a small gripe on is this grip. This part right here is a little sharp and does hit me in a weird spot in my palm. It's not the size of the grip, it's just the way it's shaped there. It would have been nice to see them smooth that out a little bit, which is a little disappointing because I usually really love rival grips. They usually are, you know, pretty comfortable, and this may be one of my least favorites, if not my least favorite. So a little disappointed there, but nothing terrible really. It's not anything that bothers me too much. If you want to see a comparison to size with the Chronos, you can see that the length is just a little bit longer, but yeah, obviously that handguard there makes it quite a bit bigger of a blaster, and then just the thickness of this blaster, it's almost twice as thick as the Chronos. So that's pretty significant. And the only other small gripe I have about this blaster is the weirdness of the way the front looks. I just think that looks really weird. I'm surprised they designed it that way, but you know, overall I think the blaster looks pretty cool. I really love how this pops out, and that makes it awesome. You can easily put in a second round if you want to have a shotgun blast. I think that's really cool really interesting way they designed that jam door there. I think that's really cool. I really love the fact that you can see through and see your rival rounds rotate around, load. I think that's awesome. So overall, I think this is a great blaster, and I think for $25, it's a pretty reasonable price considering it's a rival blaster. Definitely keep an eye out for this guy at your local store, and hopefully I can find a buy link and put that in the description box below, so definitely check there. And if not right now, there will be one there when it does arrive. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and as always, peace out.